hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And in today's video, I am going to be doing a review of Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is the first sit-down review that I think I've ever done on this channel. At the very least, I haven't done one in a while. A long time ago. I did way more book reviews then, but now I've kind of become a bit more of a vlogger, and that's just my preferred style of video. But I absolutely loved this book and I want to have some sort of discussion about it. I have my notes and everything, and I actually don't have very extensive notes about this book because generally when I do sit down videos, I don't like to be too scripted because then it just, you see me looking at the script and it's not good. Trust me, it's better for everyone. Without further ado, let's get into this video. If you don't know, Emily Henry is this huge TikTok sensation. If you don't know what Book Talk is, it's this whole community on TikTok that absolutely loves books. I think the hashtag has billions and billions of uses at this point. So it wouldn't surprise me that people have heard of Emily Henry already. And so with all of that being said, I feel like I don't need to introduce her or her other works because you probably already know what they are if you haven't read them already. But just to give a brief overview, she's written Book Lovers, People We Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, which I think was her first adult contemporary novel. But before that, I do believe she wrote a few YA books, both. I think she might have like some sort of like sci-fi looking one. I didn't read too much into it. Ironically, despite all of that, this is the first book of hers that I have ever finished because I did start Beach Read in September of last year, so 2022, and I, for some reason, never bothered to finish it. I think because I was starting the first year of my degree. If you don't know, I am a creative writing major, which funnily enough, I think Emily Henry was as well. So that's really cool. I'm going to say this right off the bat. I really do like her writing style, and Beach Read was good. But I think just at the time, I wasn't in the place to read a romance or just like any book at all for that matter, especially going into a program where you do nothing but reading and writing. Hence why, if you look at my channel over the past couple of months, I've posted like nothing. With all of that being said, though, I saw the plot of this book and saw the story and all the elements that went into it. And I just felt like this would be the perfect book to really start with. And I will try to read Beach Read again, but I think that's going to be the last book of hers that I read because right now I'm moving on to Book Lovers, and then I'm going to move on to People We Meet on Vacation, and then subsequently Beach Read. So I'm really excited to get into my Emily Henry era. I feel like she's going to be my auto-author. Any of her other books are like Happy Place. We're good. That's not going to be an issue for me. But to get into the actual review, because I know that's probably why you clicked on this video, I want to start off with the plot. So the plot is about a group of friends who have been going to this vacation house / cottage for the past decade or so, and the cottage is about to be sold. So they're going for their last week there, their last hurrah, if you will. And the main character, Harriet, had a breakup with her fiance Win, and they're both in this friend group, so they kind of devised this plan in order to not ruin their friend's last week at this cottage. They decide to pretend that they are still dating, or engaged rather. And of course, when fake dating is involved in the story, in any case, it always ends well, doesn't it? To be completely honest with you, I wasn't sure going into this book if I was going to like that very much, but spoiler alert, I did. Just to go over some of the tropes in this book, they include second chance romance, fake dating, and forced proximity. And generally speaking, I feel like going into any romance, you're gonna have to expect some predictability when it comes to the big tropes being used. But to be honest, I gotta stop telling myself when I read romance that that is something I don't like, because I obviously do. If I enjoyed this book, I obviously enjoy those tropes. It's just the way that they're written. In some books, it doesn't come across very well, and it's not always well written, and sometimes the outcomes of these tropes being used feels forced. But with Happy Place, it feels so natural the way that Emily Henry was able to write these characters and put them in the situations that they were put in that involved these tropes. So the characters that we have in this book, Harriet obviously is our main character. Then we have Win, her ex-fiance. Then we have Sabrina. Her father actually owns the cottage that they're staying at. Her father's the one that's selling the cottage, obviously. And then we have Parth, who is Sabrina's fiance as well. And then we have Cleo and Kimmy, who are dating. So it's the 6 of them. They're at this cottage. And I feel like, despite this being a romance, other people say this about her other books as well, is that with Emily Henry, you have a situation where the romance tends to take a backseat to the actual plot. So I think that's sometimes an issue that people have when they go into her books, is they expect to have it be very romance heavy. And that's not to say that this book is, but you're going to spend a lot of time with the characters and their backstory. And of course, that plays into how the story is told and how the romance plays out. But all of this is to say that when you go into a book, even like Happy Place, you're definitely going to spend a lot of time with the friendships and the other kinds of love. Like, it's the better way to put it is that this book specifically focuses a lot on all different kinds of love. I try to stay away from other reviews of books before I make my own review because I don't want other people's opinions to influence mine. But I feel like this is worth mentioning that I did watch one other YouTuber's review of Happy Place, and she mentioned how Emily Henry's books, at least this one, talks a lot about love in all different shapes and sizes. And I really resonated with that because I think that's the main thing that you got to take away from her books in general, is that they don't just focus on romantic love. They focus on friendship and familial relationships, found family, that sort of thing. And because this is a second chance romance, you focus a lot on the characters' backstory, because this is also, I forgot to mention, this is a dual timeline. So you go back and forth between present and past, and how Win and Harriet kind of got to the point that they got to. There were points where I teared up a little bit, and it was not hard to read personally, but I did have moments where I was like, man, it hit different than other romance books have in the past. And to me personally, the friendship was the crux of the story. So despite having a lot of characters in this book, I feel like the author was really doing a good job at exploring what each character did for the story in terms of exploring their personalities and their backstories. So that was really helpful when it came to exploring the dynamic between all of the friends, because that was my favorite part of the story. I loved the romance, don't get me wrong. I think that was also really well written. But like, man, the friends in this book are just so much fun to be around. It's insane. With all of that being said, I obviously really liked the book. I feel like this video is just me constantly fangirling over this book because I can't really it's not like I hated anything about this book. So I can't even give a lot of feedback on that front. I can't say anything bad about this book. That's the thing, is it was like 5 stars through and through. Highly recommend. And if you ever get a chance to pick this up, I highly suggest that you do. So I did get the audio for this book, but I didn't get a chance to listen to it. I think if I ever go to reread this book, that I will do it that way. That's how I tend to do my rereads anyway. So whichever way you decide to read this book, doesn't matter. Just read it. And I think that is going to be the end of today's video. I know this may not have been the most in-depth review, but I wanted to be as non-spoilery as I possibly could be, and I hope I did that. I hope you enjoyed. Please go read Happy Place. Make sure to like, subscribe, and to do whatever the hell you want in life. Make sure to click the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified anytime that I post. Hope you have a great day and or night whenever you are watching this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!